Hey traders, welcome back to another daily profit and loss recap video. Today is Friday, September 1st. I just finished up trading for the morning and I locked in $716 in profits. I had two trades, both of them were in these higher price stocks, DELL and NTNX. And I'm going to explain why I decided to take these trades, as well as my entry points and my exit points, so that hopefully you can take something from my trading and apply it to your own. Alright, all of that being said, the market is starting to heat back up a little bit. Typically for me, at least in my experience, June, July, August are all very slow months in the stock market, specifically August, and we've definitely seen that over the past couple of months. A lot of times we will see the market start to pick back up after Labor Day, which is this upcoming Monday, so I'm looking forward to some volume really starting to come back into these small caps, and hopefully we'll start to see some, 100% runners, 200% runners, multi-day runners, and so on and so forth. But today we had some solid gap ups this morning in pre-market. We had Meds up 98%, EOSE up 46%, AXLA up 30%. And then we had a few of these higher price stocks, NTNX, which was up 15.8%, and DELL, which was up 12.4%. And those were the ones that I ended up focusing on today. I did talk about this a little bit in one of the recent profit and loss recap videos, but just very quickly to kind of go over my thought process as to why I decided to trade these stocks. If we take a look at MEDS, for example, this was the top percent gainer in pre-market. We can see that this has a pretty ugly daily chart, just in the sense that there's all these long upper wicks, there's all these gaps that come straight back down. Typically speaking and statistically, this stock does not hold on to gains well. So if it gaps up or if it spikes up, more often than not, it's going to end up closing at a lower price that day than the price that it opened at. So that's not necessarily to say that there are no opportunities when trading a stock like MEDS. Another one is TAOP. But with that being said, they are definitely higher risk, and you want to be very cautious to cut losses and manage your risk in these trades because, again, they do statistically tend to come down throughout the day. So instead of trading these, because I didn't really see any solid opportunities to get in for even a quick scalp, I decided to just focus mostly this morning on DELL and NTNX. DELL released its earnings report yesterday in the after hours session. We can see there is a really strong bullish move from that earnings report. It holds those gains really well and continues to climb higher and higher throughout this pre-market session. So I shared the link to the earnings report and mentioned that DELL was going to be one of my top watches this morning for a gap and go. And I will say that as a day trader, I don't necessarily get too much into company fundamentals and, reading in depth into earnings reports. But if there is an earnings report and we see a bullish reaction in the stock, I do check it out very quickly and just check out the numbers to see if it is kind of solid enough to justify the stock having a bullish reaction. And we can see some pretty solid numbers in the DELL earnings report today. They announced an earnings per share or EPS of $1.74, beating the consensus estimate of $1.13. So that was an earnings surprise of 53.98%. It was also a solid EPS growth from the previous quarter, which was $1.31 per share. So those alone are already a bullish indicator for the stock. And now the next step for me, after briefly looking into the news and briefly looking into the earnings report, is going to be to look for an entry point because you want to try to pair your technical analysis with your fundamental analysis. And for me, what I like to look for when I'm trading a gap up is an opening range breakout. I'm using the high of the first 3 minutes of price action. You can also use the high of the first 1 minute of price action. You can use the high of the first 5 minutes of price action. It really is just going to come down to your preference, but I like to go ahead and actually draw that line on my charts from time to time. And the high up here is going to be $66.11. So that is going to be our opening range breakout level. We can see it pretty quickly has this big spike up with strong volume right through that level and several dollars higher. Because I was in the Market Master group, I was posting these opening range breakout levels, and I typically don't trade right away at the market open. I like to wait 3 to 5 minutes usually to get into any trades. I did actually miss out on this initial push through that opening range breakout level, but fortunately we got this nice pullback from about $69 down to about $67 right into the VWAP. And we can see the stock starts to bounce nicely off of the VWAP there. That is when I decided to take a position in this trade. My average price was right at about $67.70, so right around this area here. And I knew that on this trade, I was risking down towards that opening range breakout level. So if it started to fall back underneath that breakout level, that to me would have been a bearish reversal sign. And to me, we probably would have seen it fall back down to the low 60s. So I knew that I would want to manage my risk if that were the case. But fortunately, this ended up being a really solid scalp. I took quick profits up into this morning high and ended up with a profit of $595 on that trade. Shoulda, coulda, would have been a little bit more patient, maybe made $1 per share more on this trade, but I was hoping to see stronger volume come back in as it was retesting this morning high. We can see the volume is significantly lower at the time, so usually when a stock is heading for a breakout or pushing up to new highs, if there is lower volume, a lot of times that can be the start of a false breakout. So I just locked in my quick profits and moved on from the trade. Moving on to trade number 2, this was NTNX. NTNX was in the exact same boat as Dell, and again, this was based on the earnings report. So if we head over to Yahoo Finance just to quickly check out on the earnings report, we could see some important numbers here. They came out with an earnings of 24 cents per share, beating the consensus of 15 cents per share. That is also strong growth when compared to the previous year, which was just 17 cents per share. On top of that, we can see some solid revenue growth in this stock as well. They announced $494 million in revenue, which is 3.91% above the estimates. And on top of that, it was a strong growth year over year when compared to the previous year of $385 million. Okay, so definitely solid numbers. On top of that, another thing that I should mention is if we take a look at the daily chart down here, it's also usually very bullish to see a strong earnings report, a strong reaction to that earnings report, and a daily chart that has no nearby levels of resistance. So if it's gapping up to new highs in terms of the past 1 year, that is a great sign that this is going to be a potential strong gap and go. So there were some solid trade opportunities with NTNX this morning. I didn't trade it as well as I would have liked to, but I looked to take the exact same approach. I was trading this pretty much at the same time I was trading Dell. I was buying into this opening range breakout. I ended up with an average right around $35.90. And we did have a little bit of a push up to a high of $36.50. So I could have, maybe locked in 50, 60 cents per share in profit, but that ended up being a very quick false breakout. It came back down, and we can see that this 36.20 area was turning into a bit of resistance pretty much all morning long from that initial opening range breakout. So once it had that false breakout, that to me was a red flag. I locked in my profits at the time right in the low 36s and ended up with a small profit of just $121 on that trade, which brought my overall profits for the day up to $716. So all in all, it was a solid morning of trading. I definitely would like to get a little bit more into trading these higher priced stocks in the near future because they do tend to be a little bit more stable when it comes to a gap and go or an opening range breakout when compared to the lower price stocks. But that being said, they were my only focus today. So I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to hear about these stocks that I'm trading in real time, as well as work with our team of traders, get access to our day trade and swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, our live custom scanner streams, and so on and so forth, all of that can be found in the Market Master group. There's going to be a link down below in the description for you to get signed up. But anyway, thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a great 3-day weekend and a great Labor Day. And until the next video, good luck with your trading.